Hello everybody and welcome to another Gear Talk. And this time I want to talk to you about the Pentax P30 T. Before we begin, a couple of things. First of all, if you want to support the channel, put a like, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you want to go a step further, check out my website. You can find the books that I wrote on the website, and it's a great way to support the channel. Second of all, thank you to the sponsor, that is La Dolce Vita Workshops. Check out the workshops there. The Pentax P30 was a camera released by Pentax in 1995, and it was a cheap camera, and still is a cheap camera. It's a camera that I bought this for 10 euros on eBay. It was as non-tested, so it was kind of a gamble, but I like to fix cameras, so that was not a problem. And I got it, put the batteries, and it worked perfectly. You can find camera working order around $20 for a Pentax P30 T like this one. First of all, the Pentax P30 was the initial one, and it evolved in the N and T. Looking online, there are some difference, but everybody says something different. So the Pentax P30 is the one I will talk about, and in this one there are some features that I'm sure were not on the original P30, like for example the mechanical remote for the pictures. So this is something that, keep in mind, this is the T version. As I said, it was a cheap camera designed for the beginners to introduce people to photography and make photography very easy. And for this, the camera is perfect. A few specifications: the camera is the shutter speed that goes from 1 second to 1,000th of a second in manual, 8 seconds to 1,000th of a second in automatic. The camera can be fully automatic program, so it will choose the aperture and shutter speed for you, or you can use it in aperture priority and time priority. So it's really versatile on the side. And again, it was a cheap camera, so kind of different from the previous K series, M series, because it's with a lot of plastic. And the cover here is plastic, the bottom is plastic, but still the camera is pretty sturdy and well designed. But before I go on, I'll show you some pictures that I took with the 24mm on it and an Agfa APX 100. So here the slideshow, and I will talk about the camera later. As you can see, the camera did a pretty good job. I used the camera in auto mode, it was program or aperture priority, but always in automatic, and the camera is doing a great job exposing, also when there's a lot of contrast or the sun in the images and so on. You can see that the lens here, the 24mm, I use this lens because I'm testing it and I'm doing the test with the Pentax K1 Mark II, so with the digital body, and I want to have some comparison on film. And the lens really have a lot of flare. By the way, I didn't use the lens hood, and it's something that, because I don't have it, but it's something that I will definitely get one for this camera, for this lens, because I think it needs it, but the lens has a lot of flare when it's in a situation where there's a lot of backlight, so keep in mind that. But the camera exposed really well, so it's absolutely a great camera if you are a beginner. The characteristics of these cameras are kind of strange. There are pretty good advanced things like the depth of field preview. That is something that I love to have on my camera, and is not really something that you find in all the cheap cameras. So this is really nice. There's a memory lock for the exposure. That also is nice because it can be useful in a lot of situations. But this camera is very limited in other things. First of all, there's not a manual set for the ISO. The ISO can be set only with the DX code on the film, and it's something that I really don't like much. By the way, it goes from 25 ISO to 1600 ISO, so kind of limited in that range. But the fact that it's not manual, it means you cannot push and pull unless you modify the DX code and all this kind of things. So it's something that, yes, if you are a beginner, it's fantastic. The camera does everything. If you want something more, it's a kind of a limit. The second limit of this camera is the fact that it's a beautiful viewfinder. By the way, the T version, the split image is 45 degrees, not the usual horizontal, so it's something a little bit different, something that can be nice. But the problem is that the viewfinder is very good. All the information of the shutter speed, manual, and all these kind of things, but it lacks something that for me is essential. It doesn't show you the information on the aperture. So every time you change the aperture or something, you have to look out of the camera, out of the viewfinder. You have to look at the camera, and that is not something that I really like much. The construction, a lot of plastic, but still the feeling is very good. Other features of this camera, the synchro speed for flash is 100th of a second, and there's a TTL, so you can use with the Pentax flash, you can go with TTL, and it's pretty nice. There is a self timer, 10, 12 seconds, something like that. It's very nice to use, and nothing more. It's just a very simple camera. Switch on off. Obviously the camera uses batteries for everything because the shutter is a Seiko, the traditional Seiko shutter needs batteries to work. And that is something that I see a lot of people considering a problem with batteries. I also prefer cameras that, I love some cameras like the MX that can work without batteries, but 2LR44 really can last for a couple of years. So the need of batteries is not a big problem. It's not a digital camera that you need a new battery every day. So this is something really good. And as I said, the P30 T, that is this version, has a mechanical remote to take pictures, and this is another thing that I like, and it was lacking on the original P30. This at least is what I read online. There's not really much information on the different cameras and the evolution of the camera, so it's not easy to say what was on the original or not. I can talk about this. Another good thing is you have the window here to see the film that you have loaded on the camera. A part of this is just a very nice camera for a beginner. If you are starting in film photography, you have no experience in film photography, get absolutely one of these. You can find them working order with 20 bucks. Probably with 40-50 bucks you can find a camera with a good lens like the 50mm f2 or something like that. So get one of these if you are just a beginner, and try this camera. The exposure is good. Go in program, see if you like the results, and then you can explore more, try the manual system and all these kind of things that you can learn with the camera like this without problems. And by the way, if you have to compare this with the other entry-level Pentax, that is the K1000, absolutely get one of these. For the price, get one of these. You can get these for 1/5 or less than the price of a K1000. So get one of these and spend your money on film and developing and learning. With this camera you can learn everything you need about photography and then step up. And you enter in a system with a camera that has K mount, so you can get K lenses that are very beautiful and works perfectly. So this for me is really absolutely a great camera for someone without experience in film photography that wants a camera to start to learn and to test. If you want something that is, if you do film photography, you already use your cameras, I can tell you this is great as a second body to go around kind of on vacation, these kind of things, just take pictures and who cares. But fully automatic and so on. But if you want something a little bit more elaborated, go with other bodies. From this age, this series, you can find Super A or Program A. You can find a link here of a review of those cameras. In the case, it's much better because you have the aperture information and you have other things in the camera. It's a little bit more evolved for a more serious use. So, at the end of the game, nice camera for the money. For the money is absolutely fantastic camera. If you have to spend on one of these more than $50 with the lens or something like that, just look for something different, like the Super A, Program A, these kind of cameras, or go with the usual MX and so on. But for the money, if you can find below 50 with the lens or just the body at 10, $20, something like that, go absolutely with this camera. It's nice to have. And yes, it's plastic, but it's not. It's good plastic. It's not. It doesn't give the plastic feeling. It's pretty heavy. Nice experience to keep in the hands. Ergonomically, is not bad at all. So, good camera if you can get it cheap. If you have to pay more money, go with something else. So next time I will talk more about the 24mm, and again I have tested it on this camera and on my K1 Mark II. So if you want to learn more about this lens, just put a subscribe and wait for the next video. This said, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.